The year is 2012, and one of Obama's government officials is calling up Kendall Haven. Now, Kendall Haven, he is an ex-chief scientist, very successful chief scientist, and he is the first one in the world that moved from his position as a chief scientist at a university to company storytelling, as a company storyteller. And that's where he was when he was called up by this government official. The question was, how would you like to be a chief scientist in a big research project? Your brain on story. The relationship between the human brain and storytelling. What is happening with the brain when we hear a story, and why do we just want to hear the story? What's happening inside the brain? So he had two questions that he had to think about in a few days. And that was, do you want to lead this major research project? And how much do you need? How much money? And how many colleagues do you want to hire? Neuroscientist. Now he's calling back a few days later and he's saying, I would love to. Thank you. It's going to take 2 years. I need this amount of millions. And I would like to have the assistance of 38 neuroscientists, other neuroscientists, very famous neuroscientists. And so from 2012 to 2014, this major research project, Your Brain on Story, that's what it's called, was taking place. Now, here comes the result, and that's so, it's among the science within the brain ever heard of. It was all over the media in the academic world. Within the brain, there's a little walnut-shaped area. It shows this project that that's where the information is handled. When you are told a story, this little walnut-shaped area will light up with a lot of blood. And when the blood comes into a certain area of the brain, that means that's where it's thinking. You know, the thoughts kind of pull the blood. So you can see where the on a scanning picture where action is taking place. Okay, so now another major thing that was they discovered was that this area, which they choose to call neurostorynet, the neurostorynet, there's a filter that will filter the information and put it into a storytelling frame. If it's not coming in the shape of a story, the brain will make it by itself. That was one of the major things that was discovered. And that's what we can use when, as a speaker, you can use this information. Because that shows that the strongest tool ever you can start with and you can connect with is storytelling. And even better, personal storytelling. Now, what is the storytelling shape, the storytelling frame consist of? A main character, a helping angel, helping assistant, a antagonist, opponent, a struggle, and a resolution, success. So there's 5 things. Main character, helping assistant, opponent, antagonist, struggle, and a solution. If you can start with a story like that, you want to do it. People cannot help listening. I've been trying this a lot. I do a lot of talks about public speaking, and I always start with a personal story. This is worst in the lawyer industry, the law firms. When I speak and do my workshops and public speaking, I've several times the Toastmaster is telling me you shouldn't worry if they don't pay so much attention because they're very busy, and if they're on the phone or the computer, don't worry. You just do your workshop. You just do your talk. And I never worry, because if they're on the computer and on the phone, I know right away what I'm going to start with, and that's the personal story. And what happens? They are putting away their phone, they are looking up, and they can't help listening. So this works. I did a workshop in a international NGO, and the one of the major points in this workshop was that the employers should go out there and do talks and they raise money by doing talks, this NGO. And I told them, I had this claim that they were all in this NGO for a personal reason, because it wasn't a salary. It wasn't a good salary, but they were there they wanted to help people. And they had a personal reason in doing so, this position that they were in. And so I told them to tell your personal story. Start your talk when you go out to found for money, to raise money for this NGO, tell a personal story. And this woman, I never forget, she as part of the workshop, they have to find this story and they have to, present on stage. And she had this talk. Here it comes. I was 8 years old. That was the first time I ever remember. It was in India. And my father was an ambassador. And we were staying at this 5-star hotel. And I could look down in a slum city, in a slum area. And right there, when I could see right into this slum area, how poor they were, how much they suffered, I promised myself, that's where I'll work. I'll work and I will use my life in helping these people. Because the difference of the 5-star hotel and all the luxury we had, and looking at this slum, I could not sleep at night. It really affected me. So that's where I made my choice what I wanted to do. And that's the little talks that she went around when she had to raise money, and she started this talk. And it helped. It sure did. She raised much more money than she ever. And that was almost for all the engineers and all the people that was working there. They had the personal story, and they started raising much more money when they involved themselves into the talk, showed vulnerability and involved. Vulnerability, personal vulnerability, I will talk about in the next video. I will link to Kendall Haven's talk on this research science, Your Brain on Story. I will link it underneath this video. And I'll finish up with a little story, with a little test for you. And that story is called Where's Linda? And that's one of the stories that Kendall Haven is using in his when he presents this big science project that he did. Two men are talking, and one man is saying, where is Linda? I don't know. The other man replies, I don't know. I say no more, but I saw John's car parked outside Linda's house when I passed by. I say no more. A very little story. And what are your thoughts now? When I tell this story in my workshops, the participants always say they're having an affair. And that proves, when you have that thought, because you have no proof that Linda and John has an affair, that you're making your own story. You want a logic, you want a reason why is John's car parked outside Linda's house. You're making your own reason. And then you shouldn't, because you don't know why John is there. They don't need to have an affair. Maybe it's John is just fixing the roof or something. Okay, enough for that. Now, so use the storytelling frame. Main character, helping assistant, antagonist, opponent, struggle, and solution. I'll see you in the next video. Bye.